All right. Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Everyone hear me okay? You all should have received the press release this morning with some accompanying documents. I first want to start off by saying that just a few weeks ago, we saw Charlie Kirk assassinated in cold blood. Last year, President Trump had 2 attempts on his life, 2 assassination attempts. We saw Steve Scalise a couple of years ago shot up 4 or 5 times. I am not going to be the next person shot and killed in cold blood. I take my safety of myself, of my children, of my family, of my employees very seriously. On average, I receive over 1,300 credible threats a year. That is not an exaggeration. It's actually a very conservative estimate and is likely far higher than that. We receive so many credible threats, we simply cannot keep up with them. Last Thursday morning, I absolutely 100% confronted the airport employees who put my safety at risk. Did I drop an F-bomb? I hope I did. Did I call them incompetent? If I didn't, they absolutely earned it. And so today, I want you to know that the press, you guys in the fake news, have omitted many details, and by doing so, you are lying to the people about what actually has transpired here. I have had over 24 security breaches at the Charleston International Airport so far this year. We haven't even made it a full year yet, and I have personally had over 24 security breaches at this airport. In the information that you all, and the material you're getting today, you will see some of that detailed. At the airport, my children have been targeted. At the airport, I've had employees targeted. At the airport, I personally have been targeted. So, number one, for those that have protected me, that have kept me safe, the ones at TSA and the local officers at the airport, there are some really good guys and gals that have done an extremely good job. But there are some bad apples at the airport, and I'm going to start at the top with the airport CEO, Elliot Summey, who is well aware of these security breaches and has done nothing to ensure my safety. And in fact, last week, as Elliot Summey and the airport tried to, as fast as they can, compromise my safety, they leaked video of the vehicle of which I am sometimes dropped off at the airport, compromising my safety and compromising the safety of my employee, who has now been doxxed, and her car has been doxxed. The airport, under Elliot Summey's leadership, if we can call it that, I wouldn't call it that, but under Elliot Summey last week, the airport rushed to compromise my safety by releasing the location of where I am normally dropped off when I am traveling alone. In the video that was released last week, it was a limited video that was cut and that did not show the full picture. I have FOIA'd the airport. I have FOIA'd the airport for all video, from start to finish. Show exactly what happened from the moment I got out of my car alone in the dark to the time that I got to the gate. I've requested all body cam footage. If you want to watch me drop the F word for the 50th time in my life, have at it. Enjoy it. It'll be good. But what I will not do is I will not continue to allow or tolerate mediocre safety and security at the Charleston International Airport. This is the only airport in the country where I have had security breaches. I have traveled through 4 different airports in the last 5 days. Not a single security incident at a single one of those airports. I have had incidences at airports across the country, however, and I have watched as law enforcement swiftly came in, swooped in to protect me. I had an incident in Chicago earlier this year where a man followed me through the airport, through the entire airport. When we realized what was going on, Chicago airport security quickly stepped in, they intervened, and they kept me safe. We had an incident at a DC airport in December of last year where a woman tried to have a physical altercation with me. And you know what happened? Capitol Police swiftly stepped in to protect my safety and the safety of those around me. These incidences have multiple witnesses. We have well documented these things. I will not sacrifice my safety for Elliot Summey's laziness, for his incompetence, and those who work for him who refuse to keep people safe. I am very concerned if this is what's going on. To me, what else is going on at the airport from a security operations standpoint? The other thing I want to mention is that these incident reports are almost always used only for people who commit crimes. So why were these filed? This was a complete and total political hit job. And if cursing is a crime, then myself and all of you watching this morning should have been arrested a very long time ago. I am not going to apologize if there's an incompetent government employee at the airport who's expecting an apology this morning. You are not going to get it. My safety and the safety of my family and my employees when we are traveling in high-risk situations is going to be paramount. The other thing that we are doing this morning is, you will see in your press packet, we are releasing some text messages between airport security and my staff. We are also releasing some text messages between myself on my personal device and airport security. You will see multiple times over that they have acknowledged their failures in keeping me safe. They have acknowledged multiple times they did not show up to keep me safe. You will see in the video on Thursday morning, it was dark. No one was there to pick me up and escort me. I was alone. It is a huge safety concern, and I'm not going to tolerate that kind of behavior. The other thing that you all are getting this morning is the TSA memo. And the TSA memo, which is an internal memo, we have done something we don't normally do, which is share some of the threats that we have received, both myself, my family, my employees. In the last year, the number of threats that we have received has grown exponentially. In the last 3 months, we've seen extremely disturbing behavior. 5 of my employees in the last 3 months, between 5 of them, there have been 10 flat tires. Flattened here in Charleston. Most of the tires were flattened via a broken valve. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've never had 5 employees have 10 flat tires at any point in my tenure. One of the tires of one of my employees had a blade of some type in it. This is all in the last 3 months. One of the other things that you'll see in here is that my personal vehicle was recently doxxed by the Attorney General of South Carolina, Alan Wilson. After my vehicle was doxxed, I have been followed home at least one time from where we are standing right now. I recently, after that, also had another employee who was followed out of the parking lot as well. I've had multiple individuals appear at my office unannounced. I've had multiple people threaten to show up to my office unannounced. We have had bomb threats. You all have been present when we had an evacuation earlier this year because of a suspicious package. I've had property vandalized. Some of you have covered it over the years, where I've had my car keyed. I've had my home broken into. I've had my home spray painted. I've had my home vandalized on a separate occasion as well. I was physically assaulted at the Capitol in December of last year. There are multiple videos that we have put out and released that show people explaining how they want to murder me in quite vivid, bloody detail. I have released audio messages over the years of some of the threats that I have received. We have brought these concerns to the attention of the airport multiple times. We've brought these concerns to TSA multiple times, and I am grateful to the leadership at the TSA who has worked with us to ensure that we improve the safety concerns that we have while I'm traveling. So I'm requesting immediate action today from the Charleston International Airport and TSA. I want an immediate review of security protocols at Charleston International Airport for members of Congress, their authorized staff and employees, and their children. I want formal coordination between TSA, the Capitol Police, and DHS to ensure that travel procedures reflect the elevated level of security risks and threats that I receive. I want a designation of a single point of contact within TSA for ongoing security coordination with our office. I want a personnel review of any federal employee who has participated in compromising my safety. I want a formal review of airport staff and employees who have compromised my safety over and over and over again. More than 24 security breaches so far at the airport this year. And lastly, regardless of the threats that I receive, regardless of safety concerns and protocols, I have always operated at 1,000%, despite the harassment, despite the death threats. If I wrote an incident report for every time someone cursed at me to give me feedback, we would run out of paper. I think that this is clearly a political hit job, and we need to spend more time securing the airport than attacking a hardworking conservative member of Congress. And with that, I will take any of your questions.
What specifically was erroneous in the incident report?
I don't have it in front of me, but in the text messages that you'll see, for example, the airport employees said they were looking for a white vehicle. That is wrong. You'll see in the text messages that we very specifically said we would be in a gray vehicle, and we were very specific on our arrival, what time we would be arriving. So the arrival time that they claimed was incorrect. The vehicle they said they were looking for was incorrect. When I came into the airport on Thursday, I was literally the only vehicle getting out at that time. There were no airport security upon my arrival outside the airport entrance where I enter, and there were no security inside the airport where I enter. And what you'll see in the video is that I patiently waited. I asked TSA for help Thursday morning, and TSA was very helpful. They were confused. I was confused, but they were very helpful in trying to figure out who was there. No one knew at TSA what airport security were there, and so they did try to scramble and help me identify who was there and request assistance. Now, the crew member entrance, I think there was something in the incident reports about that as well. In the press release this morning, we have also provided TSA's official policy for federally elected officials that we do enter through the crew member entrance. That is standard operating procedure. There's nothing odd about that. There's nothing unique. I was not denied that, but because of TSA's rules, I can't just walk through flippantly. Like, you have to have a security escort, which is why I was waiting at the TSA crew member checkpoint, because that's where I enter, that's where all federal officials enter, and that's where we go, and that's the policy. So I patiently waited, I asked for assistance, and the TSA employees at the airport Thursday morning were very helpful. What's the other, I don't have it in front of me, the incident report, am I missing anything else in terms of some of the information that was incorrect?
So they stated over 6 times in the incident report that they were looking for a white BMW because that's what they said that we told them we were arriving.
And you'll see in the documentation you were provided this morning, that's completely inaccurate. Whether that's intentionally a lie or a false statement or they're incompetent, I don't know, but we were very clear on what vehicle, what time, where I would be. The other thing I want to mention is that they have repeatedly compromised my safety by releasing the video of the vehicle that I was in, doxes that vehicle. They also released the location of where I get dropped off. So the irony here that these are, this is an airport trying to keep me safe and secure when they are actually compromising my safety and security is egregious. It is unforgivable. And when I'm governor, if there is a government employee or a government worker or a government executive like Elliot Summey, who is incompetent, who is lazy, who puts people's safety at risk, you will be fired on the spot. I have no tolerance for mediocrity. I have no tolerance for people who refuse to do their job. And yes, I will absolutely 100% call you out for being incompetent. That is a fact. I have done it multiple times over, and I will do it again if I have to. And when I'm governor, if I find a single government employee who's incompetent or corrupt or lazy, you're going to be fired right away.
Congresswoman,